How to Talk to Anyone by Leil Lowndes. Part 1, Chapter 3. How to use your eyes to make someone fall in love with you. Now we haul in the heavy eyeball artillery, very sticky eyes or superglue eyes. Let's call them epoxy eyes. Big bosses use epoxy eyes to evaluate employees. Police investigators use epoxy eyes to intimidate suspected criminals. And clever Romeos use epoxy eyes to make women fall in love with them. The epoxy eyes technique takes at least 3 people to pull off: you, your target, and one other person. Here's how it works. Usually, when you are chatting with 2 or more people, you gaze at the person who is speaking. However, the epoxy eyes technique suggests you concentrate on the listener, your target, rather than the speaker. This slightly disorients the target and he or she silently asks, "Why is this person look at me?" instead of the speaker. Your target senses you are extremely interested in his or her reactions. This can be beneficial in certain business situations when it appropriate that you judge the listener. Human resources professionals often use epoxy eyes not as a technique, but because they are sincerely interested in a prospective employee's reaction to certain ideas being presented. Attorneys, bosses, police investigators, psychologists, and others who must examine subjects' reactions also use epoxy eyes for analytical purposes. When you use epoxy eyes, it sends out signals of interest blended with complete confidence in yourself. But because epoxy eyes puts you in a position of evaluating or judging someone else, you must be careful. Don't overdo it or you could come across as arrogant and brazen. Sometimes using epoxy eyes is too potent, so here is a gentle yet effective form. Watch the speaker but let your glance bounce to your target each time the speaker finishes a point. This way, Mr. or Mrs. Target still feels you are intrigued by his or her reactions. Yet there is relief from the intensity. Technique number 3, epoxy eyes. This brazen technique packs a powerful punch. Watch your target person even when someone is talking. No matter who is speaking, keep looking at the man or woman you want to impact. Use epoxy eyes to push their erotic button. If romance is on the horizon, epoxy eyes transmits yet another message. It says, "I can't take my eyes off you," or "I only have eyes for you." Anthropologists have dubbed eyes the initial organ of romance because studies show intense eye contact plays havoc with our heartbeat. It also releases a drug-like substance into our nervous system called phenylethylamine. Since this is the hormone detected in the human body during erotic excitement, intense eye contact can be a turn-on. Man, epoxy eyes is extremely effective on women. If they find you attractive, the lady interprets her nervous reaction to your untoward gaze as budding infatuation. If she does not like you, however, your epoxy eyes is downright obnoxious. Never use epoxy eyes on strangers in public setting or you could get arrested.